Hey, so you want to learn how to create this really cool herringbone stitch pattern with your crochet. So I'm going to show you exactly how to create this pattern so you can use it for your projects, whether you are using one of my patterns from my brand Onyx and Bone, or if you're doing this with your own creations or someone else's pattern, whatever it is that you're doing, showing you exactly step by step what you need to know in order how to create this really cool kind of V-shape little stitch. So without any, more blabbering, let's just jump right into the tutorial. All right, so we're gonna start off by doing a slip knot as per usual. And then for this little swatch, because it's kind of like a demonstration, I'm gonna be chaining 10, but you can do whatever number you need for whatever you're doing. So if you have a project or pattern that calls for this, or if you're just wanting to practice right alongside with me, you can do 10, but it's just basically gonna be whatever number you want and then plus 1 at the end. It's 10 and then plus 1. Okay, so we have our chain here. And so basically the first stitch of every single row is gonna be a single crochet essentially, but this first foundation row is gonna be a little bit different. So we are actually going to be, instead of, normally single crocheting into each chain, we're actually gonna be single crocheting into the back. So if you turn around your chain, you'll notice that there are these like loops in the back of each of them. That's what we're gonna be creating the stitch into. So we're gonna be skipping that first chain, because remember that's like the extra one. And in this second chain, basically flipping that over and into that loop there. Wanna make sure that your chain isn't too crazy tight, and then pulling through and then yarning over and pulling through just like a normal single crochet. So that's just for the very first one. Now the rest of the row is gonna look different, and this is where we're going to be starting to create the herringbone stitch. So how we do that essentially is continuing to use the back chains. We're going to be picking up the last loop from the single crochet. So that would be this one right here. So pick that up and then pick up the back loop of the next chain like that. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 together. And it doesn't look like much now, but it's starting to create that diagonal. So let's do that again. That very, very last loop, pick that up, the back chain, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through all 3. And then we're gonna do that again. And then we're gonna be doing that just all the way until the very end. So I'm gonna fast forward so I don't bore you. Okay, so we have finished our row here. And if you can start to see that all the stitches are going kind of in that direction, it's starting to create that pattern. This is gonna be a pattern that does have a wrong side and a right side. So this is currently the right side. And the second side is obviously gonna be the wrong side. So we're gonna chain 1 to end that row, flip it over. Now this is gonna be a little bit trickier, this back row. So this is the wrong side now. So I'm gonna grab some more yarn. So like I said, every first row is gonna start off with a single crochet, but because the main pattern's on the front here, this one's actually gonna be threaded through the back. So instead of entering that first chain in this way, like you normally would when you're single crochet, you're gonna be doing it from the back, so backwards. So like that. Yarn over, and then single crochet. Now we're essentially going to be doing that same pattern. We pick up that last loop and then single crochet all the way down. But again, because this is the wrong side, we're going to be having to kind of work backwards. So we're actually going to be picking up this loop here. So you might have to be flipping it back and forwards a couple times as you learn how to do this, and eventually you'll definitely get the hang of it. So you're putting in your crochet hook right through that back loop, entering from behind, again, single crochet, so yarning over and then pulling through all 3. And then you're gonna start seeing that this is now creating that same diagonal in the opposite direction. So it creates kind of that V look. So again, you can flip it over to see. We're gonna be picking up this loop essentially right here. And then single crocheting from behind, yarning over, and then you have 3 on the hook, and then pull through. Again, kind of flipping over to C, picking up that last loop, going from behind, pulling through. So that is how you're going to do every single wrong side. Okay, so we've reached the end. This is how it looks like on the wrong side, so it's just, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look the pattern that we're going for, right? So chain 1, oops, and then flipping over. So that's basically the wrong side plus the right side that we originally did, and that's the beginning kind of look of this pattern. So now I'm going to show you how you're going to do the right side from now on, because obviously that foundation row is a little bit different going into the back of the loop, and we're not going to be continuing to do this. So essentially you've already chained 1 and you're going to be single crocheting. So this is just like a normal single crochet, and then you're going into that back loop, that last loop, and then you're just single crocheting like normal after that. So it's a lot easier. So it's basically almost the inverse of the wrong side again. So into that loop, single crocheting just like, oops, oh my goodness. Single crocheting just like normal. You want to make sure that your stitches aren't too crazy tight, or else it's going to be really hard to grab this loop if it's like insanely tight. We want to keep like pretty consistent so that the pattern just has that nice tension throughout. So that's how it looks like, completed 3 rows. I'm going to quickly do one last. Once, remember, you're single crocheting from behind, and then you're grabbing that loop. And that's basically how you create this stitch. It can be a little tricky at first, but it's definitely a really cool pattern to use and to have. I hope that you really enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, definitely give this video a like. And of course, leave me any kind of requests or recommendations that you guys have for other tutorial videos for either crochet or knitting that you guys want to see, and definitely subscribe to this channel for more content like this. And I will see you all in the next tutorial.